It is match day today, Barcelona versus Athletic Bilbao. And there's been a couple of changes within the Hansi Flick squad. It seems like Rashford might not start this match because he didn't train yesterday properly, and it won't be unfair to start Marcus Rashford. So yeah, the possible lineup for me. I think Lewandowski for sure should start in the attack. He's on fire right now. I think he's hitting that form that we've been expecting from him ever since. So Rafael Ferran should take the place of Rashford because Rashford will not be playing today. I think he might come in the second half. I think he should just have less time because he didn't train. He was having some flu, as reported by Hansi Flick. So he might have to come in the second half basically to get some minutes if needed. So Lamine Yamal on the left, I think that's undisputable. And it's so worrying for Rooney Badji. He hasn't been playing so well lately. So maybe during the Copa del Rey, he might have some time or more time to play for Barcelona. So in the midfield is where the problem is today. I don't know what to expect in this midfield. I'm not really sure that we can really control that midfield without Pedri and Dani Olmo. I'm just really, really concerned. But let's see what Dani Olmo and Fermin Lopez brings to us, because in the second half against Celta Vigo, we saw the difference when after the second halftime talk, I think they did very well, because in this midfield, the only central midfielder that we have right now is Casado. He's the only defensive-minded and also central midfielder that we have. Dani Olmo and Fermin, especially Fermin, we all know Fermin would not stay in that midfield. He will always move forward. He has a high for goal as well, so it's going to be crazy. And the key thing in that midfield is that we have to really press high. We have to win the one-to-one or one-on-one duel. It's really, really important. We have to make sure we keep a lot of pressure on the midfielders of Athletic Bilbao so they don't find those passes to Nico Williams and co. And the good thing is that the Williams senior will not be playing this match, so he's ruled out. His speed is scary. It's a good thing. We'll not be able to deal with his pace today, but we still need to take care of Nico Williams, because Nico Williams is very direct. We all know how good he is. He should have been the Barcelona player right now, but unfortunately, it is what it is. So I think today he might not get a very good reception at the Camp Nou. He might not get a very good reception, but we need to make sure Eric Garcia plays in that place, because Koundé, I don't know if Koundé will be able to contain him, because Koundé is not that fast. But Garcia is faster than Koundé. So it depends who Hansi Flick wants to play in that right back to contain Eric Garcia. But for me, I would prefer Eric Garcia to Koundé. Koundé might, I don't know, Koundé is not just himself lately. So he might find it really difficult, to contain Nico Williams. So let's see how it goes. But I think Araujo should play today. Araujo didn't convince me at all against Celta Vigo. He didn't do well. I was rooting for him, but that day, especially in the first half, he was just miserable. I don't know what happened to Araujo. Sometimes he proves to be one of the best defenders in the world, and the other times not. So that first half against Celta Vigo is nothing to write them about. So the second half is what we want to see in this match, and even better, start the same way you started in that second half. Now we all know what to do. We used to think the high line was the problem, but no. We saw it in the second half against Celta Vigo that the high line was never the problem. The problem is how the players were supposed to play. They weren't pressing enough. They weren't winning the one-to-one duel. And, it allowed the midfielders of the opponent to, look for their attackers or their wingers to run over our defenders. And we all know we don't have the fastest defenders in the world. So if we can make sure we put all these things in place, press really high, Dani Olmo and Fermin, these players won't only give us the pressing. They can also give us the attacking power moving forward. Because two of these guys can score. Lamine Yamal, Ferran Torres can score, Lewandowski can score. So this will put a lot of pressure on the defense of Athletic Bilbao. Because whenever they make a mistake, we capitalize on that. We have a very high probability of scoring goal. So I think it will be really difficult for us in the midfield, but if we can do what we are supposed to do, according to Hansi Flick yesterday in his press conference, he said something like, they asked him about the midfield, that the absence of Pedri and Frankie de Jong. He said he already figured out, or the team already figured out how to play without this guy. So I'm just, waiting to see how or what the plan is to play without Pedri and Frankie de Jong. I just want to see if we can make it right. That means it's getting like we are not depending on any of these players to move forward. But we all know how important these two players are, especially in the big games. So I think if we do our job right, less mistakes, especially in the defensive line, we have to score first. If we don't want to suffer in this game, we have to score first. If they score us first, it's going to be really difficult. And we might not be able to get those 3 points away from this team. So, Kubasi Arau, that's another place where a lot of Barcelona fans, we have their different opinion. Some people might prefer Garcia ahead of Araujo, while Kunde playing at the left back. But trust me, Athletic Bilbao, we need somebody like Araujo who could support Eric Garcia whenever Williams is trying to take him on. Araujo has that speed. He also has that physicality. Whenever maybe Williams beats Eric Garcia, Araujo will always be there to cover up. He will use his power. He will use his physicality to win the duels. That's what we need. Okay, if you put Eric Garcia there and Kunde, trust me, Williams can take both players on. That's how good that player is. And we know whenever he's playing against Barcelona, he always wants to prove something. Especially what happened last time where he was supposed to come to Barcelona. He wants to prove to Barcelona fans that, yeah, I wasn't just a fluke. I'm that good to play for your club. So we have to be really careful with Nico Williams today. So I think we should. Bade is another thing, or another player where I'm not too convinced. We know how good Bade is, no doubt about that. But lately, he hasn't been himself. He was so good last season that when he was injured, we missed him a lot. But this time around, it's never the case. So whenever this guy plays very well, I know Barcelona also do well, especially in our attack. And the big news is that Rafinha might get some minutes in this game. That means Marcus Rashford might not play this match, because Rafinha might come in later on for maybe Ferran or Lewandowski, as the case may be. And in the midfield as well, we might see some rotation. Maybe Dani Olmo coming off for a player like Drew. Drew might also get some minutes in this game, and I hope he gets some minutes. I hope we have a comfortable lead, so as Hansi Flick can make changes to make Drew plays. Because this player has not played for a couple of games, and he's a very special player. We all know how good he is. So he needs to start playing for Barcelona to boost his confidence moving forward. So for me, I do not expect anything than winning today. Today is the match day, Barcelona. We are going to the Camp Nou. There's going to be a lot of things happening before the start of the match. And we are going to be using this jersey on my screen. We are going to be using this jersey written, "We are coming home to Barcelona." So it's a special jersey. All Barcelona fans around the world are getting that jersey now. And it's selling really fast. So let's see how it goes. I'm not expecting anything less than winning today. It will be difficult. It's not going to be easy. Trust me. Atletico might not be in a good form of late. But trust me, they are coming to this stadium to prove a statement or to prove themselves. So let's get ready. Let's be ready. So Barcelona winning today, no doubt about that. Visca Barca.